The Portland Symphony Orchestra is back this season with its annual Magic of Christmas show. It runs through Sunday with a mix of traditional music and new surprises. Amanda Hill spoke with conductor and music director Eckhart Preu about what to expect.
So this year marks the 100th anniversary of the Portland Symphony, and it's the 45th anniversary of Magic of Christmas. And when you think about it, you know, for 100 years we've performed, and if you think about how the orchestra has grown over this 100 years, and for how many millions of people we have performed, and how many lives we have made hopefully happier, and how many lives we may have changed as well. And that's for Portland as well as in the region.
100 years, you have to go big. So we'll get to some of the new stuff that you're bringing in this year for Magic of Christmas. But before we get to that, is it difficult to balance that tradition that many people are looking for versus bringing in that new stuff?
Well, I think that especially Magic and Christmas is all about feeling comfortable and celebrating each other and being cozy. And I think listening to familiar music is a big part of that. And so, of course, we have the traditional Christmas songs, we have plenty of those, and then we have certain Magic of Christmas traditions, like the sleigh ride. You cannot do Magic without the sleigh ride, or the sing-along, because people really like it. You know, if there's 2,000 people in the hall singing with the orchestra and the choir on stage, I mean, it's an amazing feeling, and the wall of sound, it's really amazing. And then we have classical music that people recognize, the Nutcracker, the Waltz of the Flowers, or Handel's Messiah. We have the Hallelujah Chorus. Again, you cannot do Magic without the Hallelujah Chorus, but there's always something new and some surprises.
Part of that tradition, James Kennerly on the beautiful Kashmir organ, amazing performer, but he's sort of like an added bonus to this because he plays for an hour before you even take the stage.
I mean, Portland and Merrill Auditorium, I mean, we are so happy to have this wonderful instrument, the Kashmir organ, which is one of the biggest concert organs in the country. It's a wonderful instrument, and we have James Kennerly, who is the municipal organist, and he's an absolute virtuoso, brilliant musician. And so, yes, he basically, as you walk into the hall before the concert, he will be performing before the orchestra warms up. Then he also plays in the show. So this year, for instance, he's going to play a piece by a French composer, Jean-Marie Widor, that is kind of the showpiece for organ. And what we did is kind of our Portland version, and we just added brass instruments to that. So we have brass, and it's all very, very, very muscular and brilliant, and it's going to be just beautiful. Yeah.
New this year, so much new this year. Let's start with the aerial show, part of this almost circus-like feel you're bringing to Magic of Christmas.
Yeah. So as our special guests, because you know it's our 100th anniversary, so we wanted to go big. I want to do something very special for our audiences, and so we brought back the Cirque de la Symphonie. And it's kind of, as the name implies, it's a little bit like Cirque du Soleil, not quite, but it's a company that specializes in performances with orchestras, and they choreograph their acts to classical music. And so there's aerialists, so they're really flying above the orchestra, but there's with aerial hoops and silk. But they also have like this seal wheel. It's like a big hamster wheel kind of deal that they roll around, and a giant cube and all sorts of things. And that's something, you know, it's really a spectacle. It really feels like we're in Vegas a little bit.
And you are extending your reach farther than ever before this year with partnerships with Maine Public Broadcasting and with Maine Health.
Right. So we've been kind of fostering relationships with Maine Health for a while, that we record these concerts and broadcast them to the hospitals, because it's especially people in the hospitals who kind of need entertainment and who want to feel good and also want to be nostalgic, and in absence of family, you know, want to get this kind of cozy Christmassy feeling. And I think it's proven that music in particular has a big effect on the soul and of the well-being of human beings. That's why it's always in churches also such a prominent part, because it somehow touches something very, very, very deep inside. And when you're in the hospital and you're sick and you just need strength and you need some encouragement, and then music is kind of a perfect vehicle of making you feel better. And there's actually also a friend of mine, musician, who plays also, you know, for preemies in hospitals, and and you can see the change. You can see the change. And for animals, the same thing. It's like music somehow penetrates something very deep inside of kind of human beings.
Every year, Magic of Christmas seems to get bigger and bigger. Would you say this is your biggest show yet?
It is definitely the biggest and the most exciting show, especially since there are people above me. Yeah.
Those hospital broadcasts will be free for patients starting on Friday. And for those who would like to watch from home, Maine Public Television will be airing a recorded version of The Magic of Christmas on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and December 29th, including bonus interviews and content. You can find that schedule and in-person ticket information in the 207 section of our News Center Maine app or website.